What's going on, YouTube? I'm back with another video. If I look all sweaty and I'm a little bit out of breath, or you see me take a hit of some water real quick, it's because I just finished up my morning workout before I head out to work, man. I kind of let myself go, and it shows. Definitely not the shredded monster I once was, so I gotta get back to it, man. I'm getting old, turned 28 in about 4 months, so trying to get back to it, man. But anyways, I wanted to talk about today, is getting your CDL worth it in 2024? And my short answer to you would be yes, but at the same time, it could also be no. I'm gonna break it down for you. I'm gonna say yes because when you think about all the stores in the US or whatever country you want to think of, the products that are on their shelves and everything in their back stock and their warehouses, everything gets there by some sort of truck, whether it be a semi truck, a box truck, whatever you want to call it, right? It gets there by some kind of commercial vehicle. It has to be taken from whatever rail yard, shipping yard, onto the shelves in order for you to buy it and take it to your house. So, with that being said, I would say yes. Since getting my CDL, I've never had an issue getting a job, especially once I put the time in for that first 12 to 24 months to basically show that I can hold a job, show that I can work a commercial vehicle. And when I say work it, I mean handle the vehicle, not get into car accidents, show up consistently on the job, get some proper references in the industry, and really just show that you're willing to stick with it. Because honestly, it takes a lot of money and a lot of time and effort to train guys to get the license and to get them up to speed on where the company needs them to be in order to be a sufficient driver to fill the role that they need. So for example, for me, I'm a tanker driver, as you may know. Not any regular CDL driver can just go and hop in a tanker truck. It doesn't work like that. There's a whole bunch of nuances, a whole bunch of tests I had to take, I had to get endorsements, I had to study for this stuff and actually understand what I'm doing. So your regular run-of-the-mill Class A driver can't get in that truck. It is illegal. So another thing is that all the different options that you have in the CDL industry. Of course, you've heard of people say things like, yeah, you can get your own truck, but you may not want to do that. You may not want to do that off the bat just because of the fact that you don't know if it's for you. So yeah, you might go through CDL school, you might, you might put the work in for a year or two and then figure out like, hey, I really don't want to do this. I don't like being on the road that much. I don't like the stress that this job gives me and everything that it entails. So with that being said, I would definitely try to work at least 12 to 24 months before deciding to get my own truck. But I want to say you can specialize in this industry to make yourself more sought after and more desirable. And what I mean by that is you could do car hauling. You could do doubles and triples where you see the two trailers connected together and it's like one truck hauling them both down the road, right? That's a specialty. You could do hazmat with the regular dry van trailer, but it's a hazmat load. But that entails for you to know what you can put beside each other, what you can't put beside each other, and what class of chemical are you hauling. So it's like, it's some knowledge to it, guys. You could haul tankers. You could just it's tons of things you can get into if you get bored with working like a regular CDL job, run-of-the-mill CDL job. And also, it helps you to also scale in the industry and maybe even get paid more. I want to say maybe because, scratch that. I want to say it does help you get paid more, point blank period. It helped me get paid more. It helped me, further myself by leaps and bounds. So yeah, what else can I think of? If I'm not mistaken, it's something like, I have to check the facts on it, but the need for drivers is supposed to explode in the next 10 years, exponentially. So I want to say you might hear a lot of people getting into it. However, not all of them can be great drivers. Not all of them are going to be dependable. So, with that being said, you might hear that the industry gets saturated or everybody's doing it. Well, how do you set yourself apart? Is a way you want to go into it thinking, and the way I've done it is keeping my record clean, no tickets, no accidents, no failed drug tests, staying on top of my stuff, showing up for jobs, collecting good references who could put a good word in for you. Just things like that, guys. Another thing is that when you're going into these jobs, you want to think that, I want to say probably 80% of the people who are on staff are trash drivers. And then you'll probably have a 20% of the people who are actually decent to great drivers. So when you think about a company, 80% of the people are probably doing 20% of the work, and then 20% of the people are probably doing 80% of the work. Those are your select few hard workers that you can depend upon. So you want to go in there and grind it out and make it worth your while. I would say that truck driving may not be worth it if you're not going to stick with it. If you don't have the patience with yourself to take the time to learn everything you need to learn, starting from the first day. So all the engine components, suspension component, everything that puts together a commercial vehicle, basically, you need to be able to identify and tell, okay, this component looks fine, this component needs to be changed, or it's wearing out, it's gonna need to be replaced soon. You're gonna have to identify that. You're gonna have to know it off the top of the dome. Granted, when you get started, it might take you, 20 minutes to do, it might take you 20, 30 minutes to do a pre-chip because you don't really know what you're looking at, right? And unless you're mechanically inclined, you have some kind of experience working on cars. But for me, to have to remember each component, remember everything to check on each axle, each wheel, it took a little minute, I had never drove a commercial vehicle. I've never touched anything bigger than a Ford Excursion truck. So that's about it. And even then, my background is not working on cars at all. So I would say you have to be patient with yourself from day one. Be disciplined, be committed. If you're not gonna do it, or you're not gonna be committed, then it's not worth your time. Another thing is, a lot of guys may be able to get the license, but do they have the discipline to be able to sustain it and keep the lifestyle going and basically not lose their license? So, when you see me touch on your health, can you pass the medical exam? Are you able to stay off that gas pedal and drive properly in traffic when you're in your personal vehicle off the clock and you think nobody's looking, right? Because there's been plenty of times where it's I'm speeding and then I get that funny feeling and I slow down and there's a cop right around the corner. So it's you got to be able to use discernment and discipline to be able to keep this license, because I know that I've seen guys come into the industry and they lose their position. I've helped people who were able to get the license, right? And it's 2 years down the line, they're losing jobs left and right. And it's dang, man, you came in the game making more money than I did 3 years into it, and you fumbled it. So it's kind of disappointing. But, everybody's path is different. I know another instance is I have some homeboys who were supposed to do the whole CDL thing with me, but I ended up being the only one who went through with the process completely. And if you ask me, them even signing up for the class, them even paying for the class was a waste of their time, because I feel from day one, they knew they were not going to stick with it. They may have said they were going to, but their heart wasn't in it. And granted, I don't like working 70 hours a week, but it's I gotta eat, So having that discipline to stick through with it, being committed when you don't feel like it, showing up for CDL class, having patience with yourself when you're learning how to maneuver the truck. My biggest thing was all right, I could identify the parts real easy. My turns were, you know. But backing, when it came to backing, I'm gonna tell you, I failed the CDL test like, I want to say at least 2 times. It took me 3 tries to get my CDL test, and on the final try, it was like I passed it. And when I made that final turn into the parking lot, she was like, "Congratulations, you passed." I was like, "Oh my God!" It felt like the world had been lifted up off my shoulders, and I had finally passed the exam. Now, granted, there's still a lot of things you need to know, because it's like the real world situation is way different than the driving test. I will say that, but having the discipline and the commitment and like the drive to just stick it through. If you don't got it, I would say go find something else, man. And that's not it's not an issue, because it's like I've tried things and I just figured out, like, after the first few hours of doing it, like, yeah, this is not for me. I'm not gonna be able to do it. And you know, I didn't waste my time any further with it. So anything you do, stick with it and just see it through, man. And if you don't see yourself doing it, don't do it. Don't waste your time. But you have to be able to like differentiate between the two. What else can I say that will make it worth it or not worth it? Damn, I was going to. But yeah, man, I can't really think of anything else, man. If you're gonna do it, stick with it, man. I feel like there's plenty of jobs out here, plenty of employers. We're looking to hire great drivers, looking to hire people who are committed, who are gonna see things through. One of the questions I asked my employer before I got hired on my current job was like, what is the type of person you're basically looking to fulfill this role? And she thought about it well, she didn't even really have to think about it for a second. She told me that I was the ideal candidate for the job because, one, I was young. She could tell that I was hungry to go out there and get it just by the fact that I had stuck out my last job, and my last job was, it was incredibly tough. You know, it was very hard on the body, but I stuck it out for 2 years to get the experience that I needed. And then, you know, I did the studies, I did the certifications, and you know, I paid my way through, and I worked my way through. And she basically told me, like, I'm the ideal candidate just for that simple fact that she could see, like, I've been in the game for a little, you know, a minute. I kept my record clean. I came with all my certifications in place that she was asking for, and I had the knowledge that I needed in order to get in the door and also pass her questions in the interview, man. So that's really all I got for y'all. If you're gonna do it, do it. See it through, commit to it wholeheartedly, have patience with yourself, have discipline, and use discernment when making your decisions on or outside the job. If you're not gonna do it, and part of you saying like, you're on the fence about it, decide first, you know, before you jump into it. Decide first. If you're gonna jump in the deep end, jump in the deep end. But you gotta be prepared to swim. So that's all I can really think about, man. I'm not trying to make this too long. I definitely think CDL driving is worth it in 2024 if you're gonna stick through it, if you're gonna see it through, come in the game with a plan and a mind to execute and the discipline to see it through. That's all I got for y'all. I'm hollering back. Appreciate it.